Hi, everybody. Happy holidays. All right, so we'll jump right in here. I want to do a really quick review because Glenn said that I should stop using big words without explaining them. So we're going to talk a little bit again about collateralized debt obligations. So briefly what those are is when people take out a mortgage instead of the company that actually produces the mortgage like Countrywide or Citibank keeping the mortgage, what they do is they securitize them, which means that they sell them in packages to Wall Street, who then sells them to investors, pension funds, and whatnot in the form of collateralized debt obligations. This is important again this month because the bill that was recently passed by the Bush administration I'm going to tell you in a minute why it's not going to adversely affect that, but why future bills may possibly adversely affect that situation. What we're seeing is that people, the institutional investors that normally purchase these mortgages that are packed up and are sold as securities are shying away from them, and we're continuing to see them shying away from them, and the situation is not getting a whole lot better. We're not seeing Wall Street being flooded back by foreign money or by pension funds to purchase these. Any of these programs that are being suggested by the government to help subprime borrowers by freezing their interest rates, which is, you've probably heard that this was passed or was implemented by the Bush administration. Anything that does that on any type of a significant level, in my opinion, is going to horrendously affect the situation with getting investors back in to purchase these CDOs, which is what we need. So in effect, what the government is trying to do is they're trying to help the situation of the real estate market slowing down and the mortgage industry not being able to create any new loans. They're trying to help that situation by freezing the rates of the subprime borrowers. And in reality, what it's going to do is it's going to hurt the situation because the investors who would normally purchase this paper because they're going to get a 10% return on an adjustable rate mortgage in 3 years are now going to even more shy away from it, saying, okay, well, I'm buying this paper that's going to be paying a 10% interest rate unless the government freezes it at 4%. And now I'm not going to get a 10% interest rate. So this is, in my opinion, a phenomenally bad idea. However, the good news is that the Bush administration, the bill that they actually passed, is really not going to do a whole lot of anything at all. There's approximately 2 million subprime borrowers that purchased adjustable rate mortgages in the last approximately 4 to 5 years. Of those 2 million, first off, you can only qualify for your interest rate to be frozen if you are currently current on your payments. So that takes about a third of the subprime borrowers and knocks them out right there, because if you're already behind, tough luck. This is not going to help you. Also, your interest rate has to be resetting after January of 2008. So if your interest rate already reset or is going to reset this month, then tough luck. So in reality, of the 2 million borrowers that are in this situation in the subprime marketplace, the current estimate is that only approximately 240,000 of them are going to be able to take advantage of this program. So that's like 10%. And of that 10%, then there's another caveat, which is there's talk that what's going to happen is there's going to be some kind of a qualification where if they determine that your income is sufficient to where you should be able to make your mortgage payments, then this will not apply to those people as well. The other thing that I was just recently discussing with someone today is that this bill really doesn't have any teeth, so to speak. It's an agreement between Congress and the mortgage lending industry that they will freeze these rates. But in reality, because a lot of these loans have already been securitized and sold off, there's no real authority on the part of the mortgage industry to do this. Because if Citibank has already sold the mortgage to a private investor to Wall Street, how are they then going to go back to Wall Street and say, okay, we're going to freeze these rates? So there's a lot of confusion, and for the limited amount of people that it would help, and then there's going to be issues with whether or not it's actually going to happen or not, which all in all, so the end of this whole long spiel is that all in all, I think it's a good thing. I think that if some of the bills that are being pushed right now by some of the more, the Democrats and some of the more liberal politicians were to get through talking about a moratorium on interest rates that would freeze all interest rates for 7 to 10 years, I think that would be potentially disastrous. But at best, it's simply delaying a problem for a period of years, because then the interest rates are going to reset at some point. So maybe we somewhat help certain aspects of the market right now, only to delay it for 10 years or whatever down the line. At any rate, we'll kind of keep an eye on it. It's a little too new to tell right now what's actually going to happen and how much impact the bill is going to have. But but we'll have a little more information next month. And until then, everyone have a very Merry Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa.